I want you to remember the last time you felt proud of being responsible with money. Maybe you paid your bills on time. Maybe you avoided buying something you didn't really need. Maybe you told yourself, I'm finally getting my life together. Now, let me ask you something quietly. If you did everything school told you to do about money, why does it still feel like you're running but not really moving forward? You studied hard. You got a job. You learned how to save. And yet, somehow, the people who seem financially calm, secure, and ahead aren't necessarily the smartest in the room. They just learned something you never did, not because they're special, but because schools never taught you how money actually works in real life. And it's not your fault. When we're young, school teaches us a very simple equation. Study hard, get good grades, find a stable job, save what's left. It sounds logical, it sounds safe, it sounds responsible. But there's a quiet problem hidden inside this formula. It assumes that effort automatically turns into progress. In reality, effort often just turns into survival. You work harder, you earn more, your lifestyle expands quietly, your responsibilities grow, your stress increases, and suddenly you're not building wealth, you're just maintaining a more expensive version of the same life. Most people don't fail financially because they're lazy or careless. They fail because they were trained to think about money in the wrong order. School taught you how to earn money, but it never taught you how to position money, and that difference changes everything. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Most people think investing is about picking stocks, timing the market, or finding secret strategies. It's not. Real investing is mostly about psychology and structure. Think about your own life for a moment. Your salary arrives, you pay rent, you buy food, you handle subscriptions, you help family, you fix unexpected problems, and whatever remains, if anything remains, you call that savings or investing. But that means investing is treated like a leftover, and leftovers are never consistent. Schools never taught you that wealthy people reverse this logic. They don't invest what's left. They design their lives so investing happens first, automatically, invisibly, before emotions can interfere. Not because they're disciplined superheroes, but because they understand something simple about human behavior. If you wait until you feel comfortable to invest, you'll almost never feel comfortable enough. Comfort is a moving target. When you earned less, you thought more money would make things easier. When you earned more, you discovered new worries you didn't even know existed. So the first strategy schools never teach you is this. Wealth is rarely built by dramatic decisions. It's built by boring systems that quietly run in the background of your life. Not motivation, not hustle, not genius. Systems. Now, let's talk about another illusion school creates. You were taught to avoid risk. Risk is dangerous. Risk is irresponsible. Risk can ruin your life. And yes, reckless risk is dangerous. But there's another kind of risk that nobody warned you about. The risk of doing nothing. The risk of depending on a single income stream. The risk of keeping all your money in places that never grow. The risk of believing stability is guaranteed. Here's the strange part. Many people feel safer with a job than with investments, but a job depends on one company, one boss, one industry, one economy. That's not diversification, that's concentration. Schools taught you to fear volatility in the stock market, but they never taught you to fear the volatility of your own career. Real investors don't eliminate risk, they distribute it. They spread their future across multiple sources of growth, not because they want to get rich fast, but because they don't want their entire life to depend on one fragile pillar. There's another strategy that sounds obvious once you hear it, but feels almost invisible before you do. Time is not just money. Time is leverage. When you're young, people tell you to focus on income. When you're older, people tell you to focus on savings. But almost nobody tells you to focus on timing. Two people can invest the same amount of money and end up in completely different financial realities, not because one is smarter, but because one started earlier. Compound growth is often explained with charts and formulas, but emotionally it feels like this. In the beginning, nothing seems to happen. You invest small amounts, you wait, you feel slightly foolish. Then, slowly, something shifts. Your money starts working while you sleep, while you eat, while you worry about completely unrelated things. And one day you realize something strange. Your money is growing faster than your effort. Schools taught you to respect hard work. They never taught you to respect patience. Let's talk about lifestyle, because this is where psychology gets uncomfortable. When your income increases, your brain whispers, "You deserve this." A better phone, a nicer apartment, more expensive habits. And none of these things are wrong, but there's a hidden trade-off nobody explains. Every upgrade in lifestyle quietly raises the price of your freedom. If your expenses rise at the same speed as your income, your financial position doesn't actually change. It just looks better on the surface. Many people think wealthy people are those who spend more. In reality, many wealthy people are those who learned how to delay upgrades without feeling deprived, not by living miserably, but by being intentional. Schools taught you how to calculate grades. They never taught you how to calculate freedom. At some point, most people experience a quiet realization, not a dramatic moment, not a movie scene, just a subtle thought that appears during an ordinary day. What if I'm not behind? What if I was just never taught the right game? That's the turning point. You stop seeing money as a reward for suffering. You start seeing money as a tool for designing your future. You realize that investing is not about beating the market. It's about reducing the emotional pressure on your life. Imagine waking up one day knowing that even if something goes wrong, you're not instantly doomed. That feeling is not luxury. That feeling is psychological safety, and it changes how you make decisions. You're less desperate, less reactive, less afraid to say no. Ironically, that calm state is where better financial decisions come from. Not fear, not urgency, not comparison, but clarity. Schools taught you how to chase success. They never taught you how to design peace. So, what does all of this mean in real life? It doesn't mean you suddenly become a perfect investor. It doesn't mean you stop enjoying your money. It doesn't mean you sacrifice everything for the future. It means you start thinking differently, quietly. Instead of asking, "How much can I spend?" you sometimes ask, "How much can I automate?" Instead of waiting to feel rich before investing, you invest small amounts while still feeling ordinary. Instead of chasing complicated strategies, you focus on consistency. You accept that progress will feel slow. You accept that you'll make mistakes. You accept that some months will be messy. And somehow, that acceptance makes you more consistent than perfection ever could. You realize that investing is not about becoming someone else. It's about slowly aligning your life with the future you want. Not dramatically, not heroically, but quietly. If school had taught you these things earlier, your life might look different today. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is that you're learning them now. Not because you failed, not because you're late, but because financial education was never designed to feel emotional, personal, or human. Yet money is deeply emotional. It touches your relationships, your self-worth, your sense of safety, your dreams. So if you sometimes feel confused, anxious, or behind, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you are playing a game without being shown the full rules. And the moment you start seeing those rules clearly, you're already ahead of where you think you are. Not perfect, not finished, just moving in the right direction. And honestly, that's how real wealth usually begins, quietly.